Okay, this is how you set up your image for your next project. You're going to ink a portrait. Now, you do want to find a portrait first, so I'll show you things you need to look at. Number one, pick your person that you can search for. We will go with Zendaya for this example. And you're going to go to Images. And last thing is you want this to be large. So I'm going to go to Tools, I'm going to go to Size, and I'm going to go to Large. And again, we want a portrait, so we want to stay away from anything that is maybe too wide of a shot. I would say stay above elbows, and around the shoulders is perfect. So I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to click on the image. One thing you can do to get straight to the larger version of this is I'm going to go to Control, or I'm going to press Control on my keyboard. I'm going to click, and I'm going to go to Open Image in New Tab, and that will give me the big version. And then you can download that. I'm going to just drag this to my desktop just to save it, and then you can drag that once you've saved it to Photoshop. And that should open up a new window. Now we can start to edit the photo, and we'll talk about the steps. So first of all, we want to get rid of this background. We want to isolate our portrait. We're going to use this tool right here. This is called your quick selection. You can also press W, but keep in mind there's another tool there called your magic wand, which does very similar things, except this is going to be better for this situation. So find your quick selection tool. Again, it's the fourth one down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like a little paintbrush with a dotted circle behind it. What this is going to do, it's going to let you select an area. And in this case, we're going to select the background because we want to try to get rid of it. Now, you can sort of see this tool is trying to find an edge. And for the most part, it's pretty accurate. In some cases, obviously with the hair here, it can be a little tricky. If you want to get rid of a selected area, let's say like this part of the logo that's on the background, all you have to do, hold Option. It will turn into a minus in the middle here, and then you can kind of, that'll subtract your selected area. So if you get too much, you can bring it back by again holding Option and then clicking. So I'm going to try to clean this up as much as possible. Now, what we're going to do with this, it doesn't matter too much if it's not super accurate, but we do want some of these strands of hair. So now what we're going to do is we're going to refine our selection, and we'll do that by clicking on this button right here, the Select and Mask. And what this will allow us to do is going to go in, and we can go in and kind of select these hairs. You do want to be on this tool right here when you do the Select and Mask, this Refine Edge. It's that hand with the brush on it. And that will let you just kind of paint over these edges, and it will try to find the things that you are trying to select. Again, doesn't matter too much if we don't get every single thing, but just for the sake of accuracy, we're going to try to get some of that. So now that looks good. Also, if you don't see this view, this red is telling us what we don't have selected, and the normal is telling us what is selected. You can change your view up here. So I'm on Overlay. You can have onion skin or marching ants, or on black, on white, black and white. There's sort of the silhouette. I like Overlay, but feel free to see which one you like. And then I'm going to hit OK once I have that selected. Now again, in this case, I have the outside selected. So what I want to do here is I want to just fill it with a solid color. And so what I'll do is I'll go to Edit. I'm going to go to Fill. And where it says Contents, I'm going to just find white because I want this background to just be a flat white. And now we've gotten rid of that background and we're ready to move on to the next steps. I'm going to go up to the Select menu and click on Deselect. That will get rid of this selected area. And now we're going to just do a few more things. We want to turn this black and white. Next, so I'll go to Image, Adjustments, Black and White. And that will get rid of all the color. You can go in here and say I want the reds to be lighter or darker. I'm not going to, you can kind of determine on your photo what you want to do, but this looks pretty good as is, so I'm going to just hit OK. Now we're almost there, but we still want to simplify this because this is going to be hard to draw if we leave it as is. So we want to simplify this into two levels, dark and light. And to do that, I'm going to go to Image, I'm going to go to Adjustments, and I'm looking for Threshold. And what that's going to do is it's going to kind of simplify this to a dark value and a black value and a white value. You can control how much of the image you want to be black. What you don't want to do is you don't want to go too light here where you're going to lose details in the face. You don't want to go too dark where it just becomes just a kind of a dark blob. You want to find the right amount of balance here. Now let's say we can't find it, we lose an eye and then trying to get the nose, or we're trying to get the eyes and the eyes go away. There's one thing you can do, I'll hit cancel here, and that is to darken an area. And you can use your tool that's called the burn tool for that. This will darken an area. So you can see this is here. If you press O, it'll go to this burn tool. And so in this case, I can go in and maybe darken an area. So I'll choose, in this case, the nose. And you do have some options up here at the top. The brush size, you can change the range. The midtones or shadows is generally what you're going to do. I'm going to use midtones. And the exposure is just sort of the strength of how strong you want this tool to be. So I'm going to darken some of the shadows here on that nose. And then I'll, just a little bit, I'm going to try then again, Image, Adjustments, and Threshold. Now that should show up a little more, and I can find the right balance. And you can kind of find what you need to do. I'm actually going to undo that because I don't like that. That was too much. So back, Image, Adjustments, and then Threshold. And I'm going to find the right mix, and then I'll hit OK. Now, this is still kind of a lot of detail here, so we're going to simplify this even once more, and this will be the last thing. We'll go to Filter, Filter Gallery, and this last effect is called Cutout. And this is also going to simplify the image, but it's going to simplify the shapes more so than the values, although it does do that too. But we've already done that, so I'm going to just kind of take the number of levels down to 2. If I want to simplify the edges, I can take this edge simplicity up. Now again, you don't want to lose the details of the face where you can't recognize the person anymore. So make sure that again you can tell who the person is. Again, this edge simplicity is pretty useful. It will simplify some of those shapes for you. You don't have to do this part, but if you want your drawing to be easier to kind of trace, I think it's a good idea. So once you're ready, you can go ahead and hit cutout, and now you have your image. So we started from this, and now we've ended with this. This is the image that we're going to take, and we're going to try to ink it. And that'll be it. Let's save this. So I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Save As. And you can just change this. Well, we do want to keep it as a JPEG, so I'm going to call this Threshold because that's the effect we did. You can save it to your desktop just so it's easy to find. I'll leave it at quality 10. Now this image is going to be the one you put on Classroom. So here it is. Here's a new one. And then I will print it for you once you have turned it in. And then you will start to do the inking process. So now what you want to do is find your own person, whoever you want to do, go through these steps.